Two questions will definitely come from this video. So if you don't want to lose your 4 marks, watch this video completely. In the last part, we just studied the concept of ionization energy. In this part, we will learn about electron affinity. Electron affinity, that is E.A, it is also called electron gain enthalpy. Electron gain enthalpy. So let's get started. In this last part 7 as well as in part 3, we clear our concept about ionization energy, that is E.A. So now compare these two, then you can easily understand and clear all the concepts related to electron affinity. That is the main topic of this part 8. So what is ionization energy? Suppose if you have an atom, in case of ionization energy, the amount of energy required to release this electron. So the amount of energy need here, the amount of energy required to remove this electron. So in this case, suppose this is an atom. Suppose in that case, here electron release, electron remove, here electron will enter. First try to understand the main difference, then you can clear all the concept, you don't have any doubt. Then ionization energy, electron will remove, here electron will enter. Where? In the last shell. Here the energy required or need, here energy released, here the energy release. Okay, now try to understand. In this case, suppose the electron present here, you give some energy to pull this electron, so here energy required, so sign here is positive. So what is the sign? Suppose in case of any atom, example in case of sodium, suppose the value of electron affinity suppose plus 10, sign is always positive. Why? Here you have to give energy to pull the electron, but here energy release, so you can easily understand its sign must be negative. Though there is some exception, this exception I will discuss in the last part of this video. Okay, so this is the main concept. Okay, but in both cases we have one common point. What is the common point? The atom must be present in gaseous state and atom must be isolated. Now try to understand. This will not come in your exam because it is the core concept. Just you memorize the term. What is the cause behind it? It will not come because it is the core concept. But I will try to tell one line about it. Why the atom must be gaseous in state. Try to understand. All of you know, in case of solid, the attraction force is more. In case of liquid, the attraction force is comparatively less than that of solid, and in case of gas, the atom are loosely bounded. Okay, because in gas, all the electrons are free, atoms are free. So in this case, or in that case, since removal of electron or addition of electron will take place, if you consider the solid means more attraction, so you cannot easily take out the electron, more attraction. So in these two cases we should consider the gaseous state, because in gaseous state everything that is atom or the electron are loosely bounded. So what is the definition of electron affinity? Now if you note down this and write down your note, you can easily prepare the definition of this electron affinity or electron gain enthalpy. Now what is the definition? In case of gaseous state or in case of atom, where the atom in gaseous isolated state, then the amount of energy released after addition of electron and then atom converted to anion is called electron affinity. Again tell the definition. Note down this, I'll rub it. Okay, look at the board. Suppose electron affinity means addition of electron. Suppose you have chlorine. If you add one electron, it become negatively charged. So addition of electron, see, addition of electron means energy release. So again tell the definition. In case of gaseous isolated atom, the amount of energy released after the addition of the electron in valence shell and after addition of electron, atom become negatively charged, then this energy is called electron affinity or electron gain enthalpy. Do you understand? Okay. Now, keeping in your mind the unit of electron affinity is electron volt per atom or kilojoule per mole, keeping in your mind. Okay, so these are the two unit of electron affinity. Done? Okay. Now next concept. Okay, tell me again, related to previous part of the same chapter. You should complete first the previous part, then watch this video. Okay, what is metals or what is metal? Metal means release of an electron. Look at the board. Suppose there is 2 electron and outermost shell, suppose 2 electrons, suppose, or 3 electrons. So if it lose 1 electron, then it is called metal. So metal means lose electron. Okay, and non-metal means, I already complete this part, gain electron, gain an electron. So non-metal means addition of electron. So can you compare this? Electron affinity means gain of electron, and just I discuss ionization energy means, ionization energy means lose an electron, lose an electron. So now can you compare? Ionization energy means lose an electron, metal means lose an electron. Okay, so metal has low ionization energy. Why? Because what is ionization energy? The amount of energy required, to remove an electron, to lose an electron. But metal automatically lose an electron, so no energy is required, or more or less amount of energy is required. So metal means lose an electron, ionization energy means lose an electron. So metal since automatically lose an electron, so metal has low ionization energy. Okay, now non-metal means gain of electron. And what is about the electron affinity? Electron affinity means obviously the gain of electron. So non-metal automatically gain the electron. So non-metal has high electron affinity, because the electron affinity means acceptance, it is automatically acceptance. So non-metal has high tendency to acceptance of electron. So non-metal has high tendency to show this character, electron affinity. So non-metal means high electron affinity. Done? Okay, now our next topic. Now our next topic that's given in concise, that is selena. Next topic is factors that affecting electron affinity. Factors of electron affinity. Now we already understand what do you mean by electron affinity, just in single word, gain. Gain of what? Gain of an electron. Gain of an electron. So in short form, first understand factor affecting. Now tell me, first factor, atomic size or atomic radius. Tell me, suppose this is an atom and this is another atom. Okay, if you complete the previous 7 part, then you have the very clear idea about this. Tell me, here one electron is present, here is another electron is present. In which electron the effect of nuclear charge is more? That is, where the nucleus attracts this electron with more force. Obviously, all of you know, already I discussed here, since the distance is less, attraction is more, like magnet and iron. Distance more, attraction less. So here attraction less. Here attraction more. Okay. So now tell me, electron affinity means gain of electron. So which will easily gain the electron? These or these? It has less attraction. So how it will accept the electron? There is no attraction. But if the free electron are available here, it will easily accept this electron. So electron affinity means gain of electron. Who will gain the electron? This. So it has more electron affinity. It has more than that of electron affinity of this atom. Do you understand? So what is the conclusion point? You can write down this first. Diagram is important for board exam. Suppose if this question will come in exam, write down the 2 factors that affect the electron affinity. First you give the heading, then draw this diagram clearly. Draw this diagram. Then write, if the radius of the atom is less, you can note down it. If the radius of the atom is less, then the attraction force by the nucleus towards the outermost electron is more. So atom can easily accept an electron. Now since the acceptance or gain of electron means electron affinity, so smaller the radius, more the electron affinity. Done. Now second point. Second point is also very easy. Nuclear charge. Okay. Tell me, suppose these two are the atom. In this case, in center proton, suppose the number of proton is 10. Suppose here the number of proton is 20. So more the proton, more will the attraction, because proton means positively charged, electron means negatively charged. So since the number of proton increases, so more the attraction force. So now here, since the attraction force is more by the nucleus, if the free electrons are available, it will easily take. But here the number of proton is less, so attraction is also less, so it cannot easily accept an electron. So here the electron affinity is more. Electron affinity is more, here the electron affinity is less. So what is the conclusion point? Here also same, first give the heading, draw diagram and then write. If the nuclear charge is more, then greater the attraction force by the nucleus towards the outermost electron. So it has the more tendency to accept an electron. Now since the acceptance of electron is related to electron affinity, greater the nuclear charge, more will be the electron affinity. Done. Okay. Now based on the Selena, our next concept is trends. That is, as you move downwards or as you move left to right. Okay. Definitely the question will come from that section in the board ICSE. So clear your concept. Watch this video completely, note down this complete video. Okay, now trends. As you move left to right, what will happen? As you move downwards, then what will happen? All of you know, as we move left to right, slowly radius decreases. Now if you understand the previous concept, you can definitely give the answer of that question. As you move left to right, radius decreases. So obviously, since the distance decreases, attraction become more here, attraction more, so it can easily accept the electron. So if acceptance of electron increases, electron affinity is also be increases. Okay, so now what is your point? Give point number 1 and write. As you move left to right along a period, since the radius of the atom decreases, therefore the attraction force by the nucleus towards the last electron increases. So it has greater tendency to accept an electron. Hyphen, electron affinity increases as we move left to right. Okay, now second point, first understand, then write. As we move downwards, what will happen? Radius increases. Now since radius increases, here attraction force become less, so it cannot accept a new electron easily, so electron affinity decreases. So write down the second point. As we move downwards along a group, the radius of the atom increases. Now since the radius of the atom increases, the distance between nucleus and the outermost shell or electron increases. Lesser will be the attraction by the nucleus. So atom has less tendency to accept an electron. Electron affinity decreases as you move downwards. Done. Now most important part of this chapter as well as of this part 8, that's I already told in the first portion of the video, this is exception. MCQ as well as long question in part B definitely include this concept. Okay, so in both question paper you will definitely get few question from this exception in part A MCQ as well as in part B. Look at the board. First MCQ or first concept, not MCQ, first concept. Okay, first consider group 17 element in periodic table. Group 17 elements are known as halogens. What is the group 17 elements? First fluorine, all of you know, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. I already told, don't consider astatine after the iodine. Why? Because astatine is radioactive, so don't consider the astatine. Okay, now all of you know, as you move downwards, the radius of the atom increases or decreases? As you move downwards, the radius of the atom slowly increases. I consider this first two. Okay, for your concept. In this case, obviously the radius of the bromine again increases, iodine again increases. So first try to clear your concept with the help of fluorine and chlorine. Now all of you know, in the last shell maximum how many electron can accommodate? Obviously 8. So look at the board. Suppose in case of, okay, 8 electron present where? In noble gases, that is group 18, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, because they are noble gases. Okay, in case of fluorine or in case of all halogen, look at the number 17, that is 7, 10 plus 7. So keeping in your mind this formula, group 17 means 10 plus 7. So 7 means the number of electron present in outermost shell is 7. Okay, so what is about group 16? 16 means 10 plus 6. So outermost shell contains 6 electron. Group 15, 10 plus 5, so outermost shell contain 5 electrons. Okay, in case of group 18, 10 plus 8, so outermost shell contain 8 electrons, so 8 means completely octet, that is noble gases. Do you understand? Okay, so in case of 17, 10 plus 7, so outermost shell contains 7 electron, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, in case of chlorine also under 17, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, now tell me what is electron affinity. Electron affinity means acceptance of electron, acceptance of electron. Now the problem is that I already discussed, see the exception, very good and beautiful concept. As we move downwards, the radius increases. So since the radius increases, here the attraction force become weak. So it has less tendency to accept an electron. Therefore, as we move downwards, electron affinity decreases. But the exception is that in case of fluorine and chlorine, as we move downwards, as we move downwards, though the radius increases, but the electron affinity increases. So see, generally as we move downwards, electron affinity decreases. Here electron affinity downwards increases. Why? See, electron affinity means acceptance of electron. In case of fluorine, outermost shell, see the diagram properly, diagram is important. Outermost shell completely filled with 7 electrons, there is no space. Why there is no space? Because the size of fluorine is small. Okay, so since there is no space, if we accommodate, that is if we accept this electron, then there will be electron repulsion, electron repulsion. But in case of chlorine, since the radius is comparatively more, it can easily accept an electron. So what is your question and what is your answer? Question is radius of fluorine is smaller than chlorine, but electron affinity of chlorine is more than fluorine. Do you understand this question? Smaller the radius, greater the tendency to accept an electron, so electron affinity increases. But in case of fluorine has smaller radius, but it has less electron affinity. So try to again understand this question. Radius of fluorine is smaller than chlorine, but electron affinity is chlorine is more. Okay, so write down the answer. As we move downwards, the radius of the chlorine increases than that of the fluorine. Okay, full stop. But since the radius of the fluorine is smaller, that is why its outermost shell completely filled with 7 electrons. Now fluorine, if accept 1 electron, there will be electron repulsion. That is why fluorine cannot accept 1 electron. It has low electron affinity. But in case of fluorine, though its radius is more, but due to its greater radius, there is space in outermost shell, so it can easily accept an electron. It has high electron affinity. Done. So this is the very important question for your board examination. Okay, diagram is more important. First draw the diagram, then teacher can easily understand. You have the crystal clear concept based on this. Now second exception, I already discussed the sign of electron affinity is negative. Now tell me, in case of noble gases means group 18. I already discussed group 18 means 10 plus 8. So what is the outermost electron? Number of outermost electron is 8. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Now tell me, this noble gas can accept one electron? Answer is no. Why? Because it is already stable. Generally, electron affinity means acceptance of electron, so negative charge. But it cannot accept an electron. So what is the charge or what is the sign of electron affinity in case of noble gas? Electron affinity means acceptance of electron and charge is negative. But it cannot accept. So obviously charge become opposite, positive. Do you understand? Okay. So now tell me, noble gases, all the noble gases have zero electron affinity because it cannot accept the electron, zero electron affinity, or positive electron affinity. Done. And the last exception from this topic, after that I will give a question. If you know the answer of the question, comment the answer in comment box. Okay, last exception, keeping in your mind, there is no explanation, just for MCQ. Group 2 and group 15, this both group 2 and group 15. Okay, tell me, as we move left to right, radius decreases. So radius, if radius decreases, electron affinity increases or decreases? Radius decreases, so more attraction, electron affinity increases. Okay, but these two groups cannot follow the general trend. General trend means in these two groups, as we move downwards, downward means radius increases. So radius increases means cannot accept electron easily, electron affinity decreases. But in this group 2 and 15, as you move downwards, sometime increases, sometime decreases, sometime may equal. So these two group does not follow the general trend. General trend means as we move downwards, since radius increases, so tendency to accept an electron decreases, electron affinity decreases. But in that two group, sometime electron affinity decreases, sometime increases, sometime be equal. So electron affinity does not show the general trend for these two groups. Okay, now one homework. Okay, we are already complete most of the part of this chapter. So we already completed this chapter. Maybe one or two extra more part will require to completely finish this chapter. Now your homework. First write down the question. In case of group 16 elements, the radius of oxygen is smaller than that of sulfur, but the electron affinity of oxygen is less as compared to sulfur. Explain. Okay, I'll give some clues. Group 16 element is oxygen, then sulfur. So obviously radius of oxygen is smaller than that of radius of sulfur. Okay, so it radius is smaller, but it has less tendency to accept an electron. It has low ionization energy. Explain why. Do you know from which concept this question will come? I already discussed about group 17. 17 means 10 plus 7, outermost shell contains 7 electron. So fluorine means smaller radius, chlorine means larger radius. So it has lower attraction but high electron affinity. So same question these two. Here 16 means 10 plus 6, so outermost shell contain 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, so if you know the answer, comment your answer. Okay, I will upload the answer of this question in our WhatsApp channel, link given in description box. In this WhatsApp channel, I will regularly uploaded some question answer from Oswald and some previous year question also, in text question from concise exercise question. So to get this type of question, follow our WhatsApp channel. Okay, so note down these all part from this video, and this is our today's class. Thank you.